Hi, fourth graders, Miss Faulkner here with your Lesson 2 problem set. I'm going to be going over the directions for your must-do problems on your Lesson 2 problem set. Before you complete the problem set, you should have watched the concept development video and completed this Lesson 2 practice sheet. So you should have all of your unit conversion tables and your rules for your unit conversions for gallons to quarts, quarts to pints, and pints to cups. When you complete your Lesson 2 problem set, your must-do problems are questions 1 and 2. And it says to use the read, draw, write process to solve problems 1 through 3. Again, you're only supposed to do 1 and 2 for your must-do problems, but you can go above and beyond and do more if you would like to. So for the first one, Susie has 3 quarts of milk. How many pints does she have? So you're going to be converting 3 quarts into pints. Question 2, Kristen has 3 gallons, 2 quarts of water. Alana needs the same amount of water but only has 8 quarts. How many more quarts of water does Alana have? So we're going to have to do some unit conversions. Here is the 3 gallons, 2 quarts that Kristen has, and then Alana has 8 quarts, and we're trying to figure out this missing part of how much more she's going to need to have the same amount as Kristen. So we're going to need to convert our gallons here into quarts and to figure out how many quarts Kristen has. And then we're going to need to use that to figure out how many quarts Alana would need to have the same amount. So this is going to require a few steps. We are first going to need to convert these gallons into quarts to figure out how many quarts in all Kristen has. And then thinking back to how many more, what does how many more tell us we're going to need to do in order to find that missing part there? So that's how we're going to go about solving questions 1 and 2. And you can do more if you would like. If we look down at question 3, liters and milliliters, remember that milli means 1,000th of something. So it takes 1,000 milliliters to make a liter. So keep that in mind if you choose to do more problems and go on to milliliters and liters. We learned about that back in Module 2 when we did our metric unit conversions. I'm going to give you an example of how we might solve one of these types of questions by looking at one of the homework questions. I'm going to look at question 2 here on the homework because that is pretty similar to one of your problems in your problem set. So question 2 says, Julia has 4 gallons, 2 quarts of water. Allie needs the same amount of water but only has 12 quarts. How much more water does Allie need? So that's very similar to how you are going to solve question 2 in your problem set. So let's go ahead and write our equation. Here is my equation. This is the 4 gallons, 2 quarts that Julia has, and Allie has 12 quarts, and we need to figure out how much she would need to add onto that in order to have the same amount as Julia and make both sides of this equation balanced. I'm going to look back at my practice sheet, and when you finish this, you should have all of the tables completed, but I will have found that my rule for converting gallons to quarts is to multiply by 4 because there are 4 quarts in a gallon, so each gallon is an equal group of 4 quarts. So if I have 4 gallons, that is 4 equal groups of 4 quarts because each gallon has 4 quarts in it. So to figure out how many quarts that is, I need to do 4 gallons times 4 quarts in each gallon, and that will give me 16 quarts. That's 4, 8, 12, 16 quarts. If the 4 gallons is 16 quarts and Julia already has 2 quarts, then how many quarts does Julia have? Julia has 18 quarts. Now we know Julia has 18 quarts, so we need to figure out how many quarts I need to add on to Allie's 12 quarts to make them have the same amount. Now thinking back to that how much more, that means we are going to subtract. So we need to find this missing part. So the 18 quarts that Allie needs in all minus the 12 quarts that she already has means that she needs 6 more quarts in order to have those 18 quarts because 12 quarts plus 6 quarts will give us 18 quarts. My answer would be that Allie needs 6 more quarts of water. That is an example of how you will solve this type of question. So it will be very similar to how you will solve question 2 in your problem set. And then you're also going to be solving question 1 in your problem set. Please let us know if you have any questions, and we're looking forward to seeing your lesson 2 problem sets.